Hi everyone and welcome to Creative Business Solutions and Training series of videos on working from home. This video is going to cover all the steps required to create, implement, and test a work from home plan. So one of the key points of course, of creating a work from home plan is to keep your business operational in the event that something catastrophic occurs. Today, we've noticed in the news that a lot of these things can happen unexpectedly. Things like floods, fires, storms, and more recently, health concerns. In the past, businesses invested significant time and effort developing strategies to keep their businesses operational should these events occur. But today, we've had advances in technology, both for home and office, that have made these plans much more affordable. There's still a high degree of time required to design and implement and to test the plan, but the benefits outweigh the effort and should be considered critical business requirements to keep your business operational in the event of some catastrophic event. So here are the key phases to creating a work from home plan. First of all, creating the plan. So in this phase, you want to make sure that you're defining all the business requirements, any considerations that your business needs to enable your team to work from home and to meet your business requirements. Next, you want to have an implementation phase, and part of that is developing the training and testing documents that you're going to use for the plan. You want to make sure that you have a very thorough testing and training plan set out for all your team so that they know exactly how this plan is going to be implemented and what their role is in that. And the testing phase. The testing phase is really quite simple. Once you've created the plan, you've put all the documentation and all the effort in place, you want to test it out. So you select a few of your key team members with different roles to test the plan, and this should be an ongoing thing. So that maybe some of these key folks are working once a week from home to make sure that all the technology is working, the processes are working, and you should try that with different members on the team so that they become familiar with the process. So when the team is at the office, they may be working from a desk using a computer and different office tools. So your team have specific tasks, time frames defined to meet these business needs. So there's also policies, procedures, and checkpoints in place to measure the productivity and ensure that your work is completed for your business. So when you're creating this plan, you want to make sure all of these factors are included into the plan. So once you have all of these things considered, you have everything documented, what your business requirements are, you're going to put things in place. You're going to develop your documentation for training, and that's going to include explanations of the process, the technology, how to get support. Anything that would happen in the office needs to be translated into how you do that when you're not in the office. And all these documents should be shared with your team, and there should be some form of training. It could just be a few minutes to review the documentation. For others, it could be longer depending on how complex the process is, but these should all be tested and trained with your team. So again, the implementing and testing phase is when you're going to have all of the training completed now. You've got your team ready to go. So let's start sending a few people home once a week to try and see how that all works for them. This will iron out all the kinks, any bugs that are in the process or in the technology will get ironed out so that when a real event happens, all of these things will be taken care of and you'll be able to seamlessly let your team work from home. So we've put together a list of some things to consider when you're building that work from home plan. It's important to have butts in the chair, but that's just not all you need. You need to be sure that everything is operational, that the processes in fact are correct and working, and that your business needs are being met. So here's a few things that you may want to consider when you're putting the plan together. Not all job functions can be performed at home, so it's important to identify which ones can and cannot and build the policies and procedures around those functions. There are some people that may be critical to have in your office, other people that aren't so critical to have in their office. But there's also times when there are some specific jobs that cannot be performed from home. So build that into your plan. Clearly define work hours and include schedules for breaks and lunches. Communication is important. We want to make sure that everyone knows the method of communication to be used, whether it's email, chat, or phone, and ensure everyone knows the appropriate response times for those questions and answers. Your team needs to know when to expect that you want from them and how it's going to be measured. This could be the amount of time they spend on a task, number of iterations that they do, or the quality check on what they're doing. They should also make sure that we outline what equipment and infrastructure is required at home. Any special considerations? Is basic equipment enough? Do they need to have maybe faster internet or a second phone line? And again, do they need a private, quiet workspace for calls? Is there specific office furniture? Maybe a couple of extra outlets might be needed. So all of those things need to be clearly defined depending on what the role is and what the task is that those individuals will be doing from home. And then just like back at the office, people are going to need some type of support, some tech support perhaps, or some process support. The team need to know who to call and what the process is for getting an answer to their question. We also need to know about security policies and confidentiality. It's a good time. It's a good practice, I guess, best practice to ensure that if you have a security policy, that that's included in your documentation and reviewed with your team before they go home. You may want things locked up. You may want computer passwords, screensavers with passwords. So anything like that may be of concern from a privacy and security should be outlined in your document. And we want to make sure that we're letting people know that a work computer is for work and a home computer is for home use and not to cross those boundaries. You also may need to inform them to put firewalls or some other types of things in place to ensure security. All of your business requirements should be clearly identified in the plan, and you should have a company handbook that goes out to all the teams so that they know exactly what to do and have a reference document to look things up if they have questions. So once everyone is trained and you've tested the ability to work from home, there's only a few things to really remember. Most of the time, your teams know what their job is, so let them work away and get it done. Let the team know you'll always be available and that you expect them to be available too when you need them. And stay in touch with teams on a daily basis. Collaboration is critical when people are working off-site, and people need to be kept in the loop of what's going on, and they like to hear from their other teammates. So make sure that there's a clear collaboration and communication strategy included in the plan. So we hope these tips will help you when you're creating and implementing your work from home plan. Please keep in mind that we have other videos on here about working from home and some different tips and tricks for how to do that. So we hope that this works out for you and enjoy your work from home strategy.